The Thing He Loves. 1930s New York City. Scene 1. Midwinter. A dark bedroom in an apartment, neither tiny nor luxurious. Some evidence that this is the home of a fashionable young couple. Noise of a party on either side of the door. Delphi enters, attempting to close the door behind her, but Leon stops it with her foot and follows in. Lights remain off, leaving the one ambient light from the windows under the door.
Mr. Ra, if we could just talk for a moment.
Leave me alone!
Delphi goes to the bed, which is piled with coats, and begins searching for hers. The longer it takes, the more frantic she becomes, pushing other people's things to the grounds.
I don't know what you mean by following me about like this, but I am not having it.
She grabs her coat and goes as if to move past him. He blocks the door.
Don't go.
Come on, you big oaf. I'm not afraid of you.
I wasn't trying to scare you.
Oh? You thought it would be perfectly innocuous to close yourself in a dark room with a woman you barely know and forbid her from leaving? Oh, why must men be so obtuse?
Of course, I wasn't thinking. I was so surprised to see you here.
Oh, you are mistaken, sir. You never saw me, nor I you. But if you try to make a scandal out of this, don't think I won't tar you with the same brush.
I'm not going to tar you.
Then let me by.
He gives way, but stays near the door. As she goes to open it,
I heard about the engagement.
she stops and stares at him.
Should I say congratulations?
Don't breathe a word of this to him.
I would never, Mr. Ra. I admire you. Those parties our parents keep dragging us to, all that glamour and state. You know, I take one step in the room and I'm like a sheep among wolves. I look for you. You always seem so at ease. Not a wolf yourself, but something they can't harm. A beam of moonlight, indifferent to us posturing animals.
Had I known you had made a habit of staring at me, I would have stayed home.
No, it's not like that. Looking at you does absolutely nothing for me. If anything, it's a reminder of my own fault in letting the wolves get to me. But my eyes always go back. You give me this feeling as if I'm not alone in being out of place. I felt it when I saw you here tonight. A different sort of party, of course, and you look different. As if there's a cloud with you.
You have quite an imagination, Mr. Legrand. I'll thank you to leave me out of it.
Mr. Ra, Delphine, I promise I will never tell another soul. But I must ask, are you and I the same?
Before she can answer, there is a knock at the door, and the door opens, hitting Leon. Delphi scrambles out of the door's sightlines.
Leon, sweetie?
Leon glances at Delphi, who gives him a warning look before ducking behind the bed. He moves aside to let the door open a bit more. A young man leans against the doorway.
There you are. I was worried when you dashed off like that.
Sorry. Needed a break, that's all. It's a lot of people.
Wait till you see the balls we throw when we have the space for it. Coming out yet?
In a minute?
Sure, sugar. I'll get you a fresh drink.
The man kisses Leon briefly, then retreats. Leon closes the door. Delphi stands up.
You gave him your real name?
Why wouldn't I?
Why? You're handing every thief, snoop, blackmailer in this joint an engraved invitation.
These people are my friends.
Oh, don't be a sap. You know what the times are like. And what would you do if you were robbed? Report it to the police?
I have lost my wallet a couple of times. I thought I'd gotten too corked and forgot them.
Incredible. You're as helpless as the Lindbergh baby.
Moving to leave.
You never answered my question.
Oh, for God's sake, man, you know I'm engaged.
A lot of people here are married.
Obviously, I didn't know what sort of party it was. I only wanted a break from people like us.
People like us?
Heiresses and magnates and debutantes. It gets a bit stifling, that's all.
You mean to say you're slumming it?
Yes. Oh, you needn't look so disappointed. It's not as if you were going to make love to me.
No, but it's lonely. Living two lives. No one knowing the whole of you. It would be nice to have a friend on both sides.
I do not need friends so reckless with their reputations.
That's your only objection?
It's reason enough.
But you don't think I'm a degenerate?
God, is there nothing in that head of yours? We shouldn't even be having this conversation.
Why not? We're not children. We know better than to tell on each other when it would only get us both in trouble.
I'm not convinced you aren't a child.
And I'm not convinced you're not a lesbian. Why are you really here, Delphine?
I could see the door closing. My wedding is next week. You think it's lonely having two lives? Try half a life. A skein of lies woven around nothing.
If you don't want to get married, call it off.
Oh, genius. Why hadn't I thought of that? It's inevitable, isn't it? Someday, even you will have to wed some clueless little thing, leave her wondering where you go at night.
Not me. I wouldn't want to lie to my wife.
Oh, a phrase never before uttered by man.
Some of those women out there are married too, you know.
I know it's different for a bachelor, but surely your parents have expectations.
I'll find a way around it.
Closing the distance between them.
It won't last, don't you see? Especially the way you go on. It's only a matter of time before some rat from the society paper catches you at the wrong moment. Your parents will try to hush it up, find a nice girl, slide a ring on her hand for you.
That's not gonna happen.
It happened to me.
The engagement.
My father's idea. What else could he do, after all, when he found out that I was seeing his secretary? Of course, if he wasn't also trying to sleep with her, he'd never have known. We were supposed to come to this party together. It would have been our first time doing anything in public. We were so careful. I suppose all the practice will be useful now that I have no choice but to lie and lie and lie for the rest of my life.
There's always a choice. If something like that happened to me, I would go to France.
With what money after your father disinherits you? And what would you do when you got there?
I can paint a little.
Oh, brilliant! I hear Paris is absolutely starved for artists. Oh, you naive, spoiled...
Leon's boyfriend enters carrying 2 drinks and turns the lights on. Panicking, Delphi grabs Leon and kisses him. It is a thoroughly terrible kiss.
Hey, sugar, I brought you a...
Delphi breaks away from Leon, feigning embarrassment as she hides her face. Leon briefly short-circuits. The boyfriend turns, laughing, back toward the party.
Oi, JC, what the hell is in this liquor?
I can explain.
Well, can't wait to hear this.
The boyfriend hands Leon the second drink. Leon passes it off to Delphi, who turns away from them and shoots it.
You see, the poor girl's about to get married, and she's all nerved up about it. Never kissed a man before, you know. So she asked if we could practice.
That's just like you, Leo. Didn't look like you were giving her much to go on, though. You're a decent kisser, usually.
Decent?
Well, don't take it hard, big guy. What you lack in finesse, you make up for in enthusiasm. Maybe that's the problem.
Must be.
Well, keep practicing. I imagine the lucky man will put a little more effort in.
To Delphi.
Buck up, honey. Like the Brits say, lie back and think of England. You'll be fine.
Thank you.
handing the rest of his drink to Leon.
You need that more than me, mon frere. But don't stay back here playing house all night. I want a chance to be the bride too.
Giving Leon a kiss, the boyfriend exits. Leon drinks through a prolonged, awkward silence.
For someone who doesn't like to lie, you did very well.
You're lucky anything came out of my mouth after the shock you just gave me.
How long have you been together?
About 2 weeks, I think.
2 weeks?
What's wrong?
Oh, the way you talk to each other. I've never had that, not even with Olive. You've known the man less than a month, and you make it look so easy.
It is easy. Once you take the mask off. If you want to run, I can help you. I'm sure you'd do very well in Paris.
She turns away, fiddling with her engagement ring. She takes it off before turning back to him.
Mr. Legrand.
Leo, please.
Leo. Are you absolutely certain you don't wish to marry?
Not without some intervention from God, Cupid, or a very hard bump on the head.
What if it was someone you didn't have to lie to? It's the only way I can think of that my father might let me call off the marriage. And if we find we can't stand each other, I'm sure we could get a divorce in a year or two without raising too many eyebrows. It could be a mutually beneficial arrangement.
It's perfect! My parents always wanted me to marry someone smart.
Mine too, but I suppose they can live with the disappointment. I think I'll look again and make sure Olive isn't here. And perhaps, if we're going to be courting, I should meet your boyfriend. Make sure he's not trying to swindle or kidnap you.
Oh, he's gonna die laughing.
Downs the rest of his drink.
Something wrong?
I wasn't kidding earlier. I'm really not very good with crowds.
Delphi touches his shoulder. An intimate gesture, but not romantic.
All right. Keep your eyes on me.
They exit. End of scene.